Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome, everybody. I'm Shaza Khan. I'm the Executive Director of the Islamic Schools League of America. It's a nonprofit that supports full-time Islamic schools all over the United States. And we try and partner with amazing organizations like ICNA Relief, which is the organization through which the Empower Grant is being offered. And we are very honored to be partnering with ICNA Relief to share this information with you, inshallah. So I will eventually find what Empower Grant stands for and tell you exactly what that means. So, inshallah, I will do that soon. Educating minds and presenting opportunities while endowing resources. So as many of you may have joined us earlier this month, this is a grant offered through ICNA Relief, as I mentioned, of up to $2,000. And I want to start right off by sharing who is eligible for this grant. So that if you are not one of those people and you don't know somebody in that domain of eligibility, then you can get on with your evening, inshallah. And if you are one of those people, then you can stay with us for the rest of this hour, inshallah. So the Empower Grant is available for US-based elementary and middle school educators. That is to say that it is not applicable those who work in Canada or other places around the world, unfortunately, are not eligible to apply for the Empower Grant. Similarly, if you teach exclusively high schoolers, then you are not eligible to apply for this grant, or if you teach exclusively Montessori or pre-K, or if you are a homeschooling parent exclusively, then this grant is unfortunately not for you. However, if you do teach elementary or middle school in the United States in a full-time Islamic school or any other private school, in a full-time public school, or even in a weekend school, then you are eligible to apply. So I hope that that addresses the eligibility criteria right off the bat. Sister Sari, you want to take us to the next slide? And feel free to go ahead and put any questions that you might have in the chat. If I happen to catch them while I'm speaking and it fits in, I'll address it right away. So somebody asks already, how many teachers can apply from one school? And you know what? As many teachers as fit that criteria. And we'll talk a little bit about letters of recommendation and making that something that can be individualized so that it still makes your application stand out. Really exciting. The grant application has just opened up today, June 20th, and it will close on July 20th. So if you do not have all of your materials completed by July 20th, unfortunately, you will not be able to move through the application process. Your application will not be able to be processed. So we want to encourage everybody to start the application process early, and that's why we're hosting this grant writing workshop on the first day that the application is opened up. And we will take, inshallah, a portion of this workshop to walk you through it, but bear with us as we talk about some basic information. One other date that I want to add to that, the hope is, inshallah, that we will be able to process the applications immediately after the application deadline has closed, and that we can make some announcements about the winners by early August, early to mid-August. And inshallah, immediately after that, provided that all of your information is complete, all of the W-9 information is there, that you will be receiving notification of whether you've won and your application is that you are a recipient of the grant, or whether or not it didn't move through. So you should be receiving that by mid-August, inshallah. And inshallah, soon after that, the checks will be processed and mailed to the addresses that you have provided. And you should receive the checks by mid-September. At the latest, we are hoping and praying that you would receive the checks by the end of October, by mid or end of October at the latest, if there's any challenges or bumps or hiccups. So I say all this to also let you know that when you're thinking about your grant and what you want to be applying for, know that it should probably not be like textbooks that you would need at the beginning of the school year, because you're going to be receiving the checks later on. And as we mentioned in the info session, you may only spend the money after you've received the money. In other words, you may not be reimbursed for things that you purchase over the summer or prior to receiving the grant check. We hope to provide, not we, I mean, ICNA Relief hopes to provide up to 50 $2,000 grants, inshallah, across the nation. Yes, so if you are located in Nigeria or anywhere else in the world, even in Canada or Mexico, which is relatively right close by us, you are not eligible to apply. Okay, so the application has several components. It has the applicant information, meaning your information about you, information about the school that you work at, and then it has certain prompts that you're going to have to respond to. It also includes a video. You must create a video. It is your originally created video that is a minimum of 30 seconds and up to, we want to say at the most, 90 seconds. And you would upload it onto YouTube. It does not have to be a public video. It can be in the sharing settings, you can have it set up so that it's only visible to those who have the link. And then there are some file uploads like the W-9, like the letter of recommendation from your administrator, and possibly some others that we will mention once we get to the actual application. So those are the major components, and we will go over the actual W-9 form for you to understand what that is and what you need to fill out in there. Okay, so the first thing that you'll do, and inshallah we'll walk through this and do it together after we're done going through this presentation, is that you register you register and create a new account to be able to sign into the secure portal on which this application is hosted. And I want to stress that it is a secure portal in which your uploading of these documents with information such as your social security number would all be safe and secure, inshallah. So that is the first step, that you're going to go in and create your account. And if you have already registered, then you will just go into, say, for example, you're a winner or you were an applicant from last year, then you would sign in using your email address and password. And inshallah, we'll post that link, Sadia, if you have a minute to do so. After switching to the next slide, you can post that link in the chat. Okay, so just again, an overview of the application and the process basically is that each application will be evaluated. Each application will be evaluated by a panel of experts and given a value out of 30 points. So different aspects of your application have different point values. And applications will be evaluated based on basically what you're proposing is to spend to be able to invest and purchase things up to $2,000. And you're going to explain the impact that that would have on your instruction on students inside and out and potentially outside of the classroom. So what is the impact of the purchases of this grant application that you're proposing on students inside and outside of the classroom? How you will also be evaluated on how the funds will be used to develop an impactful and innovative experience for students. So you want to be thinking a little, we like applications that are creative and address key issues and challenges and draw those kinds of links between what you're proposing to purchase and the ways in which you're going to be creating an impactful and innovative experience for students and have a meaningful impact on the students inside and outside the classroom. As you can see, the letter of recommendation from your school administrator is valued at 10 points, so that's pretty significant. We mentioned in the info session earlier this month that it is wise for you to reach out to the administrator that you'd like this letter of recommendation to come from early on. You want to be respectful of the administrators from whom you are requesting this letter. So, generally you want to say, that you would be asking, you want to give people at least 1 week, but it's summer break, maybe 2 weeks to write that letter of recommendation. And some of the tips that we provided were that you might want to provide them with some bullet points about what you're planning to spend the funds on and what they could say about you in their letter of recommendation to make it easier for them to write that. And then you also need to provide a 30 to 120-second video there too. And yes, this is only for elementary and middle school teachers, not high school teachers. So what we want to do is, Sadia, do we have a slide on the letter of recommendation? If not, then I'd like to just provide a little bit more. Is there a slide on just the letter of recommendation? Yes,
No,
I think. Okay.
it wasn't added, but I could add it.
No problem. No, I'll just speak to it. So, like I said, the letter of recommendation needs to be from an administrator at the school, at a school at which you've worked. And I think preferentially the school at which you will be working this coming year. And you want the administrator to describe what makes you a unique and good applicant. Why should ICNA Relief consider this applicant to receive these $2,000? You want to point out what makes this teacher a strong teacher, educator. Maybe they connect really well with the teacher or with the students. Maybe they're always thinking out of the box. Maybe they've been working for 5 years or however many years, and just be as specific as possible. If you have multiple teachers from your school who are applying for this, please make sure that your administrator, or if you're an administrator who's joining us and listening right now, make sure that you're not copy and pasting the same generic letter of recommendation. I want to stress that it's really important that the letter of recommendation is personalized to the applicant and to the things that the applicant is applying for. So you want to be providing your administrator some insight into all of that. Okay. So now we want to share with you some of the videos. We have 4 videos that we want to share with you. Like we said, a video is a required component of the application. When you're watching this video, I want you to note that when you watch these 4 different videos that we're going to share, we want you to note that there are different ways that are acceptable and powerful to create a video. You'll notice that in some of them, people are just talking, and some of them, people don't show their face. And some of them, it's just a PowerPoint that you're being taken through. And you also want to be thinking and kind of maybe have a piece of paper right now that you're writing down some innovative ideas about what you're gaining from. Maybe it sparks some ideas for what you could be writing your application for. So Sari, I'll go ahead and ask you to share that, the first video. I've also just put that link right there in the chat. So Sari, are you having challenges with the actual? Here, I'll go ahead and take it. Seems like you might be having some trouble opening up that link, so I'll go ahead. As you can see, this is the portal, and we'll take you through this, but I've just shared that link there with you in the chat. Okay, so this is the first video.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
This is going to be Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zainab Hassam, and this is going to be my 3rd year as a kindergarten teacher at the Islamic Academy of Alabama. Oh, that is me. This is my Instagram page in case you wanted to see a little bit more of what I do in my class at the Islamic Academy of Alabama, and how I utilize resources in my classroom, class by class, day by day. One of the main purchases would be a laptop. I like to maximize my prep time as much as possible when given an opportunity, and this would help a lot. I would buy a workstation for my desktop and my books, my printer in the classroom. I currently have a very, very old heavy metal desk where the doors do not open unless I pull one out, pull the bar on the inside to open the rest of the doors in the metal desk. That is also very hard to move around. Another item would be to renew the rug in my classroom that has been in my classroom for over 10 years. It would seat at least 35 students this run. And one of my final larger purchases would be these sensor tiles that I would actually have installed on a wall. That is what my goal is for when a child needs a common core to, a moment to calm down instead of sending them to the office. It's just my Amazon list, but some of the things I would get, for example, from the miscellaneous are like laminating sheets, which I use to laminate center activities that are used for years on end. I really hope you take my application into consideration. Jazakallahu khairan.
Okay. Some funny videos popping up here. As you can see that this is an unlisted video. Okay, so that is how you could have it uploaded onto YouTube, is that you would have it uploaded as an unlisted. And you can see this person is not a YouTuber, right? They have 1 subscriber. So just to provide some insight into that part. All right, so that was one. She shares some different materials that would be beneficial for her, right? Laptop and a workstation, and then some things that would be for the classroom. So it's not like everything needs to fit necessarily within one specific theme, but as you go through, and we'll go through the application questions as well, you will be prompted to share your responses to how the materials will support you in different aspects of teaching and engaging your students. So now let's watch the second video.
Vegetable garden. I'm so proud of it. And this, we just had one bed here, but you can see we have got so many beds now. This is because of grassroots garden organization, which is doing an amazing job in Buffalo, New York. COVID-19, please go away. I want my students back. I'm missing my students, all my students, because this is what they do. I'm really missing them because they clean the beds and they fill it up and then they go in together. But I'm sure they must be doing it at their homes right now. This year we have planted some more new fruit trees here. You can see all around us.
So it looks like this this applicant has actually shared a video that was created for their school that might be complementary to what they wrote their application for. That's what it seems like to me. Saria, do you have more insight into this video?
Yeah. So this applicant is sharing with us a particular project that they are working on. That is the garden for their community. It is making a positive impact. They're gonna use these funds to grow this garden. They're sharing more details and the kids interacting with it. And then this video, they're sharing an overview of the gardens, some pictures, and some things along those lines.
Okay, yeah, so it's not, so it's something that was created clearly in 2020, but they're showing like evidence of how the funds would be used for the applicant who's written this grant application. Okay, so that's a very different usage of a YouTube video. All right, so we'll watch the third one. And then after the fourth one, we'll have a little bit of a discussion too, if you have any questions or thoughts there.
Members, my name is Christine Austin, and I teach at Alhambra Academy in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. I come to you with immense enthusiasm and gratitude. Thank you so much for all of your work. My students have fallen in love with Dash robots, and I am eager to take their learning experience to new heights. With our current 6 robots, I have successfully introduced programming fundamentals, igniting a passion for coding in our students. However, as our excitement grows, so does our challenge. MashaAllah, our class sizes have been growing over the last few years. With larger class sizes, having only 6 robots means that I have to group many students together, hindering the level of interaction they have with their robot. With your generous support, I aim to acquire 8 more Dash robots, enabling me to form smaller groups and provide every student with ample opportunities to interact and experiment with these amazing robots.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and, just because we're almost at the half hour and I do want to leave time for discussion and walking you through the application, it seems like here's an applicant who has created a video where she's speaking, right? She's written a script, she's speaking, and then she's interspersing what she's spoken about with video, with pictures of her students using it, and she's presenting the need for more of these robots, which certainly her application will have described in more detail as well, where she's included some of the, cost and all of that. And so I want to now take us to the last video, and then I actually think we'll go through the rest of that presentation, and then we'll open up for the questions or discussion.
For the ICNA Empowerment Grant to empower the learning environment for my students. Since I teach in a mainstream classroom structure, the grant can help me to differentiate my instruction using assistive technology learning tool to work more effectively based on my students' learning differences. I would like to reach all my learners using the assistive digital technology tool. One of the most important tool is the audio assisted reading tool. This helps students build fluency skill, including proper phrasing and expression. It also helps improve sight words recognition, comprehension. Additionally, it allows students to hear the tone and pace of skillful reader for ELL learners as well. Mm. Tablets and laptops can be used for my learners so they can use the technology for their projects and digital note-taking skills, and digital assessments or periodic progress monitoring to ensure that instruction is appropriate and students are on track.
Okay, so here you can see that the applicant has created, a PowerPoint with screenshots of students utilizing the materials that she's writing the application for, as well as the cost of it, which will also be detailed in later parts of the actual application. Inshallah, we'll share with you this slide, which includes obviously all these links, so that you'll be able to go through that as well, inshallah, in more details. And then as you can see, this is how you would upload the YouTube link. You would put that there. And then these are the supporting documents that you would have to upload. The letter of recommendation, as I mentioned, the social security card. Yes, we need the actual picture of your actual social security card, not just a piece of paper that has your social security number written on it. This is a requirement from ICNA Relief based on their financial protocol. And again, I just want to reassure everybody that the portal that you're using is secure. It's a secure portal, and ICNA Relief uses, the highest standards possible in terms of this security, as well as their own financial controls, and that's why this is a requirement. The W-9 form, I'll get into that in just a minute, and your resume. So take some time to update that resume of yours, inshallah, and clean that up as well. So a W-9 form is a tax document that is going to be required for you to fill out. Sadia, do they have access to the blank document on the application site?
They have a sample W-9 on which fields to fill out, but no, not
Okay.
document to fill out.
No problem. You can find it if you Google it. And this looks like it's been recently revised. So it's revised March 2024. So you want to Google the W-9 form. Again, when we send this recording, inshallah, we'll remember to include a link to the most recent W-9 form that you'll need to fill out. You're going to fill out part 1, the name, your name. 2, checkmark individual or sole proprietor right there, that first one. Put in your address. This is where your check will be mailed. So please, please put in a valid address and an address to which you have uninhibited access to, because, and the reason why I stress this is because in the previous years, we've had people put in addresses and then they were traveling or they didn't have access to that address and then they didn't receive the check. So it just, please put in your address that you have uninhibited access to. And, I would suggest put in your own home address. That's my own suggestion. And do not forget to fill out your social security number. Yes, even though you've already are uploading a copy of your social security card, you also need to fill this out. That's what will make this form valid. And then you're going to sign it and put the date. And that is what you need to do on this W-9 form. It is a requirement for you to have this. If you are unwilling to share, and that's totally fine, you don't feel comfortable sharing your social security card or you don't feel comfortable filling out the W-9 form, then I would just have to say, we respect that. But unfortunately, because it is a requirement of this application, if you are unwilling to share those things, then unfortunately, you are also unable to apply for the grant. So just really straightforward that is a requirement. So okay. Is that it? Are we at the end of this? Okay, so we're at the end of the PowerPoint, and we'd like to, walk people through. I think Sadia has a dummy application, or Sadia, if you're able to get back on screen, on camera. But while you do that, I'm going to stop my share, and I want to open it up for some questions, and then
I have a question.
and then
Should
we'll
I-
pass the microphone back to Sadia
Yeah.
to share the application itself and address any other further questions if time permits.
I
Yes.
have a question, Shilza. I had applied for this grant earlier too, and it was granted. That was that happened couple of years ago. What happened that after I got the grant, I had to leave the school because I got accepted in the credential program.
Hey, congrats.
I
Yeah.
left.
Mhm.
So I didn't utilize that grant. Now,
Mm,
for W-9, you are mentioning that is it the individual who is
Mhm.
applying is going to apply on, is the school going to put the information on the W-9 form or
No.
the individual?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so Nasreen, we would like for you as an individual to apply for the grant
Okay.
and for you as an individual to fill out the W-9. And that means that you
Okay.
will be reporting this income on your taxes.
Oh,
Now, when
okay.
you've done that, the materials that you receive from this grant, even let's say you leave for some reason, they are yours to keep.
Oh, okay.
And if there is a misunderstanding between you and your school, inshallah, we're here to explain that to the
Okay.
school. However, in some exceptional cases, we can allow for the school to be the recipient of the grant. That will be determined on a case-by-case basis. In that case, the W-9 needs to be filled out from the actual school. And then obviously they're not going to mark that they're an individual. They're going to mark that they're a C Corp or an S Corp, whatever they are. They're going to put in their EIN number and they will receive the check and then the materials will belong to them.
All right. So this is
Okay.
different than what I had applied earlier for, because it was my school who filled out the W-9 form.
Well, I
And
think
they received.
yeah, that might have been allowed in the past on a case-by-case basis or for those who didn't understand. But we've always wanted it to be something that is provided to the individual. That is the spirit behind the.
Okay, thank you
Yep.
for clarifying.
Yeah.
Thank you so
And-
much.
Yeah, no problem. And Sadia, if you can just please address the question in the chat about the link. Can you please confirm that that's the accurate link? It's showing that the application deadline is 2022. Sometimes I think I'm still in 2022. Any other questions for folks? From folks?
The link is accurate. I think that must have been a typo.
Okay.
I wasn't updated, but the link is accurate. It was
Okay, great.
IT department.
I have a
Alhamdulillah.
question. Assalamu
Yes.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Go ahead, Sadiqa.
If with some reason, if your principal is not able to write a recommendation letter, do you have any alternative? to
Yeah,
do it?
great question. Okay, Sadika, that's a wonderful question. So if your principal isn't able to, it has to be somebody kind of, I don't like to use this language, but a superior, somebody who is that you report to or that has overseen you. It could be a vice principal, it could be a curriculum and instruction coach, it could be the department lead, it could be the if you're a lower elementary teacher and you have a lower elementary principal, it could be them. And it could even be a board member potentially if they've had some experience in seeing you teach. It should not be a relative of yours. And it should also be, their title should be made clear on the letter of recommendation. It should be a properly formatted letter that has a place for them to sign and then shares their name typed and shares what their position is with the school. Does that answer your question, Sadeka?
Yeah, because my principal is very sick and I just really didn't
Oh,
want to feel to bother her over and over. Okay, did you write it?
Okay.
I told her, but I feel so
Yeah.
sorry, but she's
One
very
other thing, Sadeka, is that I've done this in the past. I don't mind it personally. I'm just speaking as a person. Sometimes I'll write a draft for somebody that I need them to write a letter of recommendation. I'll say, I am just sharing this with you. Please feel free to change it however you need to or want to. These are just suggestions. And you provide them with a draft. And that makes it a lot easier for them to revise it, make some minor modifications, and then sign it. And they do have to provide the letter of recommendation back to you. So you will be seeing it as a PDF because that you are the person who will be uploading it. One
Okay.
other thing I just remembered I wanted to say as a tip to you all. Look, the application has a save and return to option. So you can start the application right now and fill out some parts and save it. We highly recommend, the ICNA Relief team highly recommends, we at ISLA recommend that you write all your answers to the prompts on a Google Doc or a Word document and save it. And then transfer that into the application later on so you have a backup somewhere. Sometimes there's internet issues, browser issues, there's a technical glitch, and you just don't want to miss and lose all of that. So please, that's our tip, our insight. It's not a requirement. You can do it all on the application itself, on the browser, but we recommend that you have it as a backup. You work on a Google Doc or on a Word document, and then you transfer it over into the application itself.
Once I will register myself as an applicant, there will be a format or application where I can fill it out, or I have
Yeah,
to.
yeah, we're gonna walk through that in just a bit.
Okay.
I just wanted to pause for some questions. Jamila, yes, absolutely. You will be taxed. Like I said, this is taxable income. If when you are filling this out as an individual and filling out the W-9 as an individual, that is because you are liable for the taxes, or it's going to feed into your tax return. So it's up to $2,000. In rare instances, it might bump someone up a bracket. I don't want to. I'm not a tax expert, but that can happen. It's just, I mean, I don't mean to diminish the value either, but it's just 2,000 as well. So it's not like a significant amount that it's like going to necessarily jump most people up, I think. Somebody asked about the physical address of the school's physical address. Leticia, is that a part of the application where it's asking for the address? If it's
Yeah.
under that. Mhm.
Yeah, it says school's address. We rent from a church, and so I don't typically put physical address when applying for things, but I don't know if it's okay to put a PO box there.
You know what, Leticia, if you can email us about that. I don't want to give you the wrong information. I think you could probably go ahead and put the PO box, but they might be using it to validate the school as well. So if there's a question, I wouldn't want your application to not go through because, there was some discrepancy or something.
Which email should I email it to?
Yes, Sadia, can you drop the email address? If it's not yours, can you just drop an email address that they can email questions to? And of course, you can also email me. I just wouldn't have the answer. I'll have to forward it to someone. ISLA is just a partner in disseminating this information. We're not administering it. Yes, Leticia, was that your question? I see that you have your hand raised.
I actually had a secondary question
Go
with
ahead.
the whole W-9. So I actually volunteer as a teacher at the school that I work at. So I am unpaid. And I'm just wondering if that impacts in any way the grant, like for verifying employment or anything like that.
Well, the W-9 isn't going to verify your employment. You know, that's a good question. I don't think that it makes you ineligible. Since you're emailing us anyways, go ahead and put that in as a question too. The reason why I say I don't think that that takes away from your eligibility is because weekend school teachers are also eligible to apply, and oftentimes they might be volunteers as well. Fatima, you have a question, and then we'll address Omar's question. And then after Omar's question, we'll move into the dummy application so that you can actually see that. Go ahead, Fatima, share.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum.
So I had a question. If we're making a PowerPoint that kind of addresses the things we want to buy, a little bit about ourselves and things like that, and then kind of like the video you showed us,
Mhm,
where they're using the PowerPoint to kind of walk you through it.
mhm.
If we're doing that in the application itself, do we also have to kind of rewrite the words that are on the PowerPoint, or can we just say refer to the PowerPoint attached?
So I'll answer it this way, Fatima. Every piece of your application, as you'll see, inshallah, in just a couple minutes, has different point values to it. And you want to take the opportunity to use each of your parts of the application to get the maximum points possible. So while we don't want anyone to be verbose, like overly
Mhm.
wordy in their application, we also don't I don't think it's a good idea to be overly concise, like, you know, just like
Yeah.
refer to this. I think what I would suggest, this is again just me as a person who's applied for different kinds of things over time, is that you kind of want to use each thing as a different, as an opportunity to go at it in a little bit of a different angle. Sometimes you want to repeat certain statements, but you always want to be providing some more context, some a different angle or perspective, some unique depth that you're able to get into with each of those potentially. I think that that would be the most beneficial way.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Yes, Brother Omar.
Uh,
Brother Omar has a question. Then
go,
we want
go
to
ahead, go ahead. Go
Sister
ahead.
Shazi, if you don't mind, go ahead and write your question in the chat. And after we address Omar's question here in the chat, we'll go to the dummy application. Dummy application meaning the empty application. And then we will try and address as many other questions as we can, inshallah.
Okay,
So
thank you.
yeah, you will have to send the receipts or upload the receipts. So, okay. Actually, Omar, your question brings up another portion. Inshallah, once you receive the grant, you will be then able to, you will receive a notification. There'll be an award ceremony, virtual award ceremony. We'll recognize you at ICNA Relief and at ISLA. We'll celebrate you. And then inshallah, within some time, you'll be receiving the check. At the latest, we're hoping the latest would be mid to late October. And then once you receive the money, you will be able to spend your money. So you spend the money after you receive the check. Then you will be saving your receipts because as a recipient of the grant, you are required to fill out a grant report. And this is really, really important. The report is similar to this application. There's a link that you will be provided that you'll have to respond to certain prompts, and you'll be asked to upload the receipts that equal to the amount of the grant that you have received. We understand that when you're writing the grant application, some of those prices might change from the time that you write the application to when you receive the money. So I think that there will be some accommodation for that, although I don't believe that you will be reimbursed for any amount above 2,000 because they only have a set amount of money that they're able to disperse. But you will be uploading those receipts as well as pictures and videos potentially of the materials being used, inshallah. You said also, can you elaborate in which conditions can the school itself apply instead of the teachers? Well, the school can be a recipient of the grant money in a case-by-case. It will be determined on a case-by-case. Okay, there will be a case-by-case determination. Sorry. But the funds must still go to a specific teacher and specific classroom that meets the eligibility criteria of elementary or middle school usage. So let's say, Omar, you want to write the grant, you're going to write the grant, you're going to confer with your school and ensure that they are okay with being the recipient, like the people, the entity that receives the actual money, and then they will go forward with the purchases for you for those materials, and then provide you with those materials once they come in. And then they will also be filling out the W-9. But see, now you let go of a lot. Maybe they're too late in providing the W-9, then your application is not going to be processed. So I guess when we say case by case basis, you know, I think we're trying to discourage it, but if for some reason you cannot be a recipient, like you cannot take in, you do not want to be tax liable for the tax implications of this, then you know you can talk to your school and ensure that they are willing to fulfill all of the parts that they would have to fill out and disperse and all of that, and the reporting and all of those aspects. So, but if you have further questions about that, I think go ahead and email the backtoschool@icnarelief.org email address here. Yeah, Shazia, you could use the money to buy frog and sheep brains. Yeah, you can use it to buy lab and experiment stuff. Guidance counselors are not eligible. Librarians aren't eligible. PE teachers are eligible, but again, you want to highlight your elementary and middle school teachers that you're now. Guidance counselor is doing work as a teacher. Maybe they're doing SEL lessons. Then that's a little bit more iffy potentially. That you know you might be eligible. I think go ahead and send your email question into backtoschool@icnarelief.org for us to work through that. Go ahead, Sadia, to walk us through this part. Are you able to walk us through this part?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So in the chats, there is an empower.icnarelief.org/registration link that we shared with you guys earlier. I will actually share it again right now. If you have registered previously, then go to this link over here where it says I already have an account. Otherwise, please start filling this out. Full name, email address, password, and then retype your password. Actually.
All right, so we're letting you go ahead and do that. I've just done that. I'm registering for the first time here, I think. So we do want to let you go ahead and do that. If you have any issues, go ahead and put those in the chat. Okay, then you're going to get the user will be created, and please check your email for the verification email. So you're going to want to go back and do that.
Raise your hand if you have filled out the registration for a new account or have completed this step, so we could all walk together.
I did it, Saria. Yeah, people are using the raise hand function on Zoom, if you're familiar with that. Okay.
Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yeah, it's okay if we put like personal email.
Yes, you can use your personal email address.
Thank you.
Good. We've got a number of people who have done it so far. Great. Rashida, Kashanda, Letitia, Farheen, Fatima. Great. Naima. Awesome. Sadia. Great. I think we're ready to go on.
Okay, click on the registration, and then you will be pulled up to.
Okay, so I was a new user, so I got the thing where I had to verify. I saw that the email came in right away in my inbox, and I clicked the link inside there to verify the email address. And once you do that, you're taken back to the login page and you can sign in, and you're taken right into the application now.
Yes.
How you do send the resend verification email? Hello?
Yes.
Uh,
Say, please
Remember-
verify your email address. You notice your email has not been verified.
Yeah, so go into your email inbox
Okay, I go,
and find that verification email.
okay.
Sorry, you want me to share my screen? I'm in the application page now. If you're,
okay.
I mean, no, I only if you were, it looked like you were searching for something here.
Oh, no. I was trying to find,
Okay.
capture the email picture. For the,
Okay. Okay, I able to connect myself. Okay. Application. Empower. Teacher's name.
So Sadia, is this right? I just took over the screen share, if that's okay, Sadia. Feel free to grab that back if you need to. I have here, start this page showing up,
correct.
and I would go to start a new Empower application. And here
Yes.
you find the information about it. It can be used for projects and materials relating to core subjects. Supplies include but are not limited to. And honestly, I've also seen, we saw, right, like that it's also related to social emotional learning or and other aspects as well within the domain of work that you as amazing teachers do. You do so much, mashallah. So don't feel like it can only be about science or math or, you know, something like that. It can be creatively engaging students in other aspects too that are important. Okay, then it goes through and shares with you the application evaluation criteria, all of the things that we've already talked about right here. Okay, we're going to fix that date.
Yes. Sorry about that.
And then, right, so inshallah, we will provide an update on when the report needs to be provided, and we'll provide all of the recipients of the grant with the link on where they have to provide this report. So it might not exactly be like a one-page report, it's more like an application page like this.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm filling up my application. Is it okay if I add my personal email and my house address for the
Yes.
safety of the check will come, I
Yep.
know.
Yes.
And then my personal telephone number or?
Yes, yeah. So this first part is all your contact information. You're going to fill this out. You're going to put in all your information here. Your contact information, yes, your personal contact information, your personal email address or school email address, whatever you want, the grade or grade, does it let you? So you can enter it, right? So you can say 1, 3, 5, and 7 if those are the grades that you teach, right? And I teach Islamic studies because only Islamic studies teachers are given such random grade levels to teach. Okay, are you the person responsible for the execution of the grant? That would be yes, right? So I am the teacher who is applying for the grant, and I will be executing the grant, meaning I will be doing the things that I'm saying I'm going to do in this application with the grant funds. So yes, you do that. I have not previously applied. And of course, since I haven't previously applied, I haven't previously received it. And of course, people who are recipients, past recipients are eligible to apply. So it looks like, Sadia, until I fill out all of these things, it won't let me do that, right?
The save option? Yes, I think you will have to put it out and then you'll have to finish your page, basically.
Okay. Wow, all my information is getting shown here.
I
Okay.
have a question, ma'am.
Yes.
Like I've said, I teach kindergarten, mean I teach all the subjects.
Yeah, so
Kindergarten
you can put all subjects.
Okay.
So this is an entry, right? You can, okay, do they not like, okay, they didn't like my phone number. How many more numbers do I need here? Oops. Okay, there. Okay, then you're going to put in your school details. right? The district name could be like, where is your school located? So if I'm in Austin, I'd pay AISD potentially. You're going to put in their full name, right? Miss Iman Ahmed. I'm just making stuff up.
I have a question.
Yes.
And the address too is your school address?
This now, you're on the second part, so you're putting in school information.
I am, oh, okay, but they are not letting me to go save and next.
You might not, you might have a portion that's required that you didn't fill out.
Oh, Texas. Okay. That's the one.
Okay. And then you're going to fill in your demographic information, right?
Okay.
Whatever you've completed, right? And then here you're going to put in the executive summary of your grant application. So let's take a minute to talk about this, inshallah. Oh, we don't have a lot of time, and I said that we're going to try and finish it, right? So what are some different things? Sadia, I thought that you guys were putting in word counts here. I don't see that here, minimum word count or recommended word count.
During the agreement page, I think that's when they've written it down. I don't think they've put it here. I am gonna have a conversation with them about the dates and stuff.
Okay, can you
Yeah.
ask if that could be added as a portion within this application? So again, we're recommending that you go into your docs, right, .google.org, and then just enter in all that information. Try and like copy this, but they can't get to the next parts of this without, so they won't know everything that they should put in here, Sadia, without.
Let me share my screen. I
Okay,
have
sure.
the dummy one that I made.
And again, how many teachers can from the same school can apply? There's no limit.
There's no limit.
Mine keeps saying undefined when trying to register. Okay, screenshot it and send an image to the back to school email address. Canadian schools are not allowed, unfortunately. They're not eligible. Sorry, Dr. Ismat.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Okay, so this is what you see when you have started an application but not finished it. When you log in, then you're going to click edit.
It's the school district, we can write it down like we are within a Klein ISD.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yes.
And school website. Okay.
And Sadika, honey, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but if you don't mind, just type your questions in the chat.
Okay, I'm trying to fill the application.
I love that.
Mute
I love
myself.
that you're using this time to fill it out, but I just want to make sure that we're able to get to everybody's questions. And if there's anything specific, then we can work through that later on. Go ahead, Sadia, do you want to share something? And I see that there's some hands raised too, so I want to get to those too. We'll try and stick around for 15 more minutes if you're able to. Of course, we're going to send the recording afterwards.
As you can see, all the information is saved from previously. Filling it out. And then the requested amount, go for the max of 2,000. Yeah. Here's where the YouTube link comes in. You post it over here. Let me grab a YouTube link. Write that down. Save and next. These are the file uploads. We're requesting a resume, letter of recommendation, social security card, and a personal W-9. Here's a sample of a social security card. Here's a sample of which areas need to be filled out for the W-9 form, like Sister Shaza discussed early in the meeting. And then you will just click submit. Any questions?
I think that if you could go back actually to the grant request summary, I think that that is the most important part. And why don't we take some questions right now? Yes, Farheen, I see your hand is raised first on my screen.
Oh, no, sorry, that was from before. No
Oh,
question.
okay, all right. Kashanda? Kashanda, I see your hand raised. If you have a question, go ahead and unmute.
Assalamu alaikum. That was from before too, when he was asking us to raise our hand.
Okay, wa alaikum salam. I'm happy that your question's been answered. And Sister Rashida?
Assalamu alaikum. That was just when you were asking us, I probably should have put my hand down, but when you wanted to know who was able to be at the registration portion of it.
Well, hey, nice to hear from everybody. Sister Letitia, I saw you just raised your hand, so.
Yeah, I had a question, again, kind of going back to the W-9. So I understand when you fill out the W-9, then whatever you receive in terms of the grant is income that you would have to show.
Yeah. Yep.
What if, for instance, you're requesting like an outside program with another instructor to come into your class, for example, maybe robotics. And so then I would be receiving the income, but I wouldn't be using it, but I would have to report it. And then that owner of the business would also have to report it. So how does that work? Is there a way to have it directly go to them?
Well, Letitia, I think that the funds, I don't know that they can be used to pay a person.
Yes, exactly.
So they're for materials.
I see.
And software and stuff like that. Yeah. So I don't think that
so
that
it can't be like an outsourced program.
I don't think so, Letitia, but I think you were sending an email about a couple other things.
Yes, I will add that to my email.
Thanks, Letitia. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. I have just a quick question. You mentioned that the impact of purchases, it's worth 5 points, and funds used, if they're impactful and innovative, create an innovative experience, that's 5 points. So is there a word limit of writing these two things? How much should be the maximum words?
That's what I was asking Sadia. Hold on, let me go back and look at the grant application. I think that on the first page of the grant application, they have some suggested word counts, and we're going to talk to them about actually adding that into each of these. We're just catching that they didn't have that.
I did review it. They didn't add any word count. We will update it and we will send out an email with general information.
Okay, it doesn't have that? All right. So I mean, just to answer your question, I would say like 250 words is generally a good amount for you to explain things concisely, but still within enough detail to write a meaningful response. That's just me saying that. I would say this, write a paragraph to 2 paragraphs. Don't write a page, don't write an essay, right? Don't write 2 sentences. So hover in the middle and provide enough detail to really be able to make your case that you deserve it.
Another question, I'm a bit confused. So we just have to explain these 2 things. We don't have to write a grant proposal like with a summary and everything. It doesn't have to be a proposal. We just have to explain these points.
This is the application, and this would be considered the proposal. You're not writing a separate document.
A separate, like 4 to 5 page documents, like usually like the grant proposals are. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sister Amina?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Like I have some very specific requests and I'm gonna be breaking it down a certain way. And I'd like to be able to submit a kind of workup table that I made. Can I send that to the email? Because I don't know if with the word
Oh,
count, I'm gonna be able to get everything in.
what's a workup table? Can you explain that? Sorry.
Basically, it's just a table with the things that I'm gonna ask for, and I already budgeted out how much they are.
Amina, I have a suggestion because this is the application portal. So I
Okay.
want to suggest, could you include that in your
Video?
video? Yeah, in your video.
I thought maybe, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
I
Yep.
think, you know, Amina, at this point, we don't want to be making changes to the application.
Okay.
I'm again, this is not ISLA's grant, right? But from the experiences that I've had with ICNA Relief, they're very particular about, you know, this is what we've created, this is what there is. Inshallah, we continue to improve. But for now, I think that that's the way that you would work around it.
Okay.
Provide all that additional information in your video that you can't get into this application.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great idea. Have a chart that shows all the expenses. Here, okay, so some people have messaged directly, say, all right, so the executive summary. An executive summary is like a high-level description of like what you're asking for and what you want to do, and really just summarizing what's going to happen. I am an elementary teacher who has been working, I'm a passionate elementary at such and such school, has been working for the past 5 years. I'm writing the ICNA Relief grant. I'm writing an application for the ICNA Relief Empower grant in order to purchase innovative supplies for my classroom that will help provide differentiated instruction to my learners who are both accelerated and struggling. Some of these materials are adaptive technologies that facilitate ELA, and others are textbooks that are above grade level, which my library currently doesn't hold. I'm literally making this up, right? As I'm talking. Or you could say something like, social emotional learning has become a major an important aspect of teaching in an elementary or middle school classroom. We know that more students now, and you can cite a quote, right? 50% of students are struggling with anxiety. Another 25% are documented from the NIH to have suffered post-COVID learning loss. You know, we can argue about whether or not those, right? So you include some of that. And then you say, I'm writing this grant application to fund the purchase of seeds and other gardening supplies for a garden, because gardening has been shown to support social emotional learning in this and this study, right? And then you potentially link it or you just cite it right now, right? And then you describe the current classroom objectives or describe the problem. Now in this next one, you're going to go into more detail. You might want to cite some research, right? Just some tips here from other excerpts that Sadia has shared in the past about winning grant applications. Cite some research that shows, use some data to show that this is really a problem, or share a story. You know, I will never forget, last year I had a student who was suffering with the loss of a loved one, and I didn't have the resources to provide them with the social emotional support that they needed. As an elementary teacher, I'm their sole, you know, I interface with them more than any other adult, you know, this many hours a week. And yeah, so that could be something. And then you would
Also,
describe in the next section, you just to say you describe the objectives, you know, my goal and objectives in purchasing these resources and establishing a social emotional corner or sensory corner in my classroom is to provide students with an outlet for their sensory needs to enable them to engage more in the learning materials. And then the project timeline. I anticipate receiving the funds by October. I would purchase the materials immediately after receiving the funds. I would establish I anticipate receiving the actual delivery by this time, by November. The sensory corner would be full-fledged, and I would have a lesson and introduction, some easing in of the students. And by December, I will have, 22 students will have experienced the sensory corner that will facilitate their improved engagement. And then you would put the budget in the last part, right? So you're going to then go on Amazon or on whatever your preferred retailer is and find the items that you want to actually purchase and the amount that it is, and have it add up to the amount that you are requesting. Inshallah. Can you scroll down, please, Sadia here? Oh, I'm sharing my screen. I'm so sorry. Okay, and then that's what you would do. Am I sharing my screen? Somebody's, no, Sadia's. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to sound patronizing in that description. I really mean to just share some different ideas. Does anyone have like ideas that they want to share? We've done that before where people are sharing their ideas. We don't want this to feel competitive. Hey, we're only 36 people in the room anyways, so everybody can receive the grant, inshallah. Any other questions from, let's wait and see. Anybody who hasn't asked a question yet, who has a question?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Hey, Naima, wa alaikum salam. Go
I
ahead.
put the raising hand emoji because I couldn't find the raising hand
Oh,
button
I
for the
saw
past
that.
20 minutes.
Sorry, Naima. Go ahead.
It's
Go ahead.
okay. Looks like a new app that I downloaded for Zoom Workplace. I wasn't familiar with it. But I had a question about the materials. I think I was trying to follow up someone else that had questions about exact materials to purchase. So I'm actually a former recipient myself. Alhamdulillah, I was able to receive the grant last year, and it made a tremendous difference in my classroom. Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. What did you apply for, Naima, just as a tangential point?
I applied for the empowerment grant.
Meaning, what did you apply to use it for? What did you use it for?
Oh, it was many materials that I needed in the classroom, such as projectors and computers, things like that, because we use an online curriculum at the school. It's a private Islamic school here in Seattle, Washington, and we use the online curriculum. So we needed a lot of like outside materials and resources. We were lacking even things like textbooks or reading books. And so I was using the funds for reading books and creating my own library in the classroom. A lot of the students are, behind in their reading skills, things like that. But alhamdulillah, everything that I was able to purchase was able to make a difference.
MashaAllah, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. What's your question for today?
So I was teaching fourth grade the past few years, and then now for next year I'll be teaching eighth grade, which is a huge jump. I never taught anything above fourth grade, but they'll be needing completely different materials. So I was wondering if ICNA Relief provided like some resources or websites where we can purchase materials from, or get ideas from, because I know I'll be needing different things. So is there anything like that available, or do you guys think like that?
What are you teaching in eighth grade?
I'll be teaching all subjects.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I can say this. I mean, since you've asked the question, ISLA does have some partnerships with some organizations. So, in full transparency, we have, partnered with certain organizations that will provide us with a percentage of the income if it comes through ISLA's referral. So I can provide some of that. That conflict of interest potentially is being transparently shared right now. But they do so there's so many things, right?
Right.
I think have some conversations with other eighth grade teachers potentially, or others with your administrator, and see what they have and what they think could be used. But I think that like interactive technologies are really good, right? You want to take a look and kind of inventory what kind of materials are already available at your school, and what you as a new teacher of eighth graders would want to have. But yeah, last year we had MKTV, Muslim Kids TV, come on and share information about, the amazing resources that they have on MKTV and how they provide like a classroom subscription for MKTV, right? So we've shared what partners do. We're happy to share some of the resources and technology from like Archangel, which we have a partnership with. But I
Okay.
think really you want to be able to assess. We'll share things, but
Yeah, that would
assess
be
what you
great.
want.
Yeah, because like, I want to make the most out of it and I want to
Got
make
it.
sure I get things that I'm really going to be using and utilizing because we're fairly new school and last year we got it was the administration that provided the materials for us. So we ended up having a lot of things that we weren't even using, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were getting little composition notebooks for kindergartners that we were supposed to use in fourth grade.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
make the most out of it, inshallah.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about that. And I think somebody else had mentioned last year, recipient had mentioned like they had an interactive panel, like a big digital screen that you can touch, and that she, as the teacher, received it as a recipient of the ICNA Relief and Power Grant, but then she allowed other school classrooms to also use it. And she said it was so transformational. It was such a fun experience. Yes,
Nice.
Deb?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Go ahead, Deb.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I teach language arts grades 7 through 10. So I mean, my first question, would grades 9 and 10 be considered middle school? We don't have any grades above 10.
Yeah, just focus your application on that middle school, on the eligible classrooms, right? So
Yes, and the funds can be used for in class and out of class, is that correct?
what do you
What I have in mind is I sponsor a podcasting club and I want to incorporate some assignments in my classes that kind of prepare the way and get
Motivate.
kids kind of into it. And I've had this dream. I've had the podcasting club for 2 years, but it's probably been 4 years that I have wanted to do like a story corps like they have for
That's so
NPR
cool.
in the Library of
Yeah.
Congress. Because
think-
I'm really huge on the kids learning and preserving culture and like recording stories and sharing them in a way that others can access them.
I think, Deb, that would be eligible. I think make the connection strong to your classroom. But I recall that in the info session, somebody had mentioned something about I think Amina had mentioned something about a club, a reading club or something. But yeah, and the director of the ICNA Relief and Power Grant was here and she said that would be fine. But I would say just keep making those connections really clear to make sure that you're showing that you fit the eligibility and that it's also enriching the classroom. But share how it's going to impact beyond the classroom too.
And I would like to apply to get a subscription to a recording studio.
Yeah,
so
that would be
students who want, and not everyone who's recording a session would have to be in the same place. Everyone can log in from wherever. And I would like to do that because then that would enable students to even interview relatives in other countries, friends in other countries, and add that to, I have big
I love
ideas.
it, Deb. And the subscription service is eligible. So because we did that last year. Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. Munira, are you on camera for a question? Go ahead.
Yeah. What is it? I get stuck on this page. Do I have to wait for you to like I fill up this page, the last one.
No, go ahead. I mean, we're done with time, by the way. My 7.5-year-old has just come home. So I won't be able to stay for too much longer. So you are welcome to continue with your application, of course.
I'm not sure when I click like save and next, like it won't let me.
You probably didn't fill out all of the different pieces in here.
Choose your age group.
So there's something missing in there. And Munira, if you don't mind, I'll move on to the next question and then you can jump back in if we still have time about the technical block right there, okay?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, Munira, thank you, honey. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hanan.
Assalamu alaikum. I know that the fund is very important to all the subjects, but I'm as an art teacher, I really need to use this fund to upgrade my level of teaching and my level of learning for the kids.
You
For
said
example,
you're an art teacher?
Yes,
I think
teach
I think it's
art.
eligible, but you want to again show that you're teaching elementary and middle school.
Yes, it's elementary from kinder until 8th grade.
Yeah, I think
My
it's
question
eligible.
is, yeah, I saw it in the titles, like what subjects, and I saw art.
Okay,
My
good.
question is, can I buy like machines and for the kids to work with it and like do their own shirts, do
Yes.
their own design, they design their own stuff
Yes.
and print it and use it, and this is going to be the machines plus some laptops and stuff, because they have to work, the machine has to be connected to the laptops.
Yes,
So can
Hanan,
I
it's
use it
eligible. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Oh, great,
Yeah,
great.
it
Thank
sounds
you so
very
much.
innovative.
Do I have to write this in my
Of course.
application, like I want it for this?
Yes, you
Okay.
do. Yes, that's where you put in the
Thank you
describe
so
the project budget. You're going to put in the materials, how much they cost, and a number of them that you're wanting to purchase, and how much does that total up to $2,000. Right here, the project budget.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay,
Yeah.
Sadika, go ahead,
I
Sadika.
appreciate
I have just one question. Like they say detailed project budget, including a description. Yes, whatever I write today, and if I granted the grant, and over the time I realize this thing is not as much important or necessary, I will buy another thing, which is fine, or no, whatever I write it down now, I have to buy that.
You can make minor changes, stick to the spirit of what you've written the grant for. That is an amana, that the
Yeah,
money
I know,
was
like
used.
for example, I very focused for language and math, and especially I'm teaching in Islamic school. Children are from a bilingual, so I'm really my focus for their English language reading and writing and all those things. So I am going to write few sets of the books. If I decided no, there is another set of the book is more better for this.
Yeah, that's fine, Sadika.
That's kind of stuff.
Yeah, that kind of switching out is fine. Yep, and Amina has really good advice here. Be very clear on your project budget. Thank you, Amina. That is where you put the exact items and the amount it costs. Thank you. Yes, yep, great. Akila, go ahead.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
So, is there some type of fine print or some type of clause in the grant that lets the school know that this grant is specifically for us?
That's a brilliant question.
Let me clarify, right? So let's say I received the grant, and when I leave this school, I want to take those items with me to the next school, right? Especially since I'm responsible for the taxes on this grant.
Yeah.
So just throwing it out there.
That's a great idea. Sadia, do you mind please communicating that? I will communicate that with the ICNA relief team. If that's not already part of the application, it might be too late for us to like include that in as like a contractual aspect, but maybe we could put it in our email so that like, it's written in text.
Yeah, that's so great. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, walaikum salam. Akila, just give us we'll send out this recording and resources, and it might not be in there. I want to just get full approval about the exact language that should be used from the director, who is currently unavailable. So give us a couple of weeks to address that, and feel free to, loop back if you remember with us about that. This is going to be the last question. Sister Sadia, go ahead.
I had a question. I'm sorry, I think you explained it before, but it was for the executive summary. Can you explain that to me again, please?
Executive summary is an overview of what you're asking for.
So we describe what we want in detail, or is the one you were talking about where we write about ourselves, a paragraph about ourselves?
So
Okay, and if you don't mind, go ahead and mute because there's an echo coming, and Sadia will address that. Go ahead, Sadia.
So this entire grant summary is broken down into like a complete essay, but in a paragraph format. So the executive summary is your introduction, where you are giving purpose of why, the overview of like what the project and goal of your grant is, and like contents on your need, the solution, and like expected outcomes from the fund that you will receive from this grant.
Okay, I just typed what she said in the chat. So summaries are always consolidating what other things, what you're going to go into more detail in different parts, right? That's what a summary is. you are giving a concise version, a shorter version. That doesn't mean exclude all details, but go over all of the main parts, you know? So I am writing a grant for $2,000 to use towards these materials that will help me enrich my classroom. I teach second grade, and I believe that these XYZ materials will make a strong impact on my students and support their engagement in these ways. And you could also have some research thrown in there too. Actually, that would probably be more in the next section where it says describe the problem or community need. This application is due July 20th. The last day for the application is July 20th. So, you know, don't start it on July 20th, start it now. Ask for the letter of recommendation and all of those things. So I'm really sorry. We do have to conclude at this time. I really appreciate you all joining. And we're going to drop our email address here again, to which you can ask any additional questions. We will be sharing this recording and the PowerPoint with you. And, you know, feel free to reach out if you have other questions, but please do take a look through the application and, you know, confer with others if you need to about certain things, if you have different ideas you're exploring. And inshallah, we pray that Allah grant you success in writing this grant application, inshallah, and receiving the funds, and that Allah put barakah in the funds as well. And we're so grateful to ICNA Relief for providing this and to all the donors who make this possible. And we're so grateful to you all for the amazing work that you do as teachers. May Allah bless you all, bless your families, enrich you in ways that you cannot even imagine in this life and the hereafter. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام
Thank you so much. Just one question: how to save whatever you already filled out? Because I log out and I log in, everything was out.
There's a button at the bottom that says save and
No,
next.
but I did not finish my application, so it's not giving me a chance to save it. But my previous one is, I
So you have to I think you might have to first finish all the required elements of the page before you can even click that button that says save and next. And the other way to get around this is to copy and paste the question on a Word Google Doc and write your answer in the Google Doc and just have it saved there. Yep, we'll be emailing this to you. Okay, Sadika, so make sure that you are.
Yeah, because the ones I already filled out, and when I log in again, everything was gone and I have to fill it again. That's why I was worried if every time.
Yeah, no, make sure you press the button that says save and next. If you can't press it, then Amina has a great suggestion here for something you're not ready to fill out, like you don't have the answer, just put test in there. So something is in that field so that you can press the save. You see how I did it?
You can change anytime.
Look, honey, this is how, sorry, not Amina, Sadiqa. You know, if you want to save this, you can't save it if you haven't filled in these asterisk, this star means it's required. Okay, you can't press that button unless if you filled out each of these. So if you're not ready to fill that out, put in this word test or put in ABC, put in X, put in something. Now I filled out every button, every section. Now I can press save.
So I can, and then I can edit it. I can change it, take it out.
If you press save and next, and then after when you log in, you should be able to.
Okay. Thank you so much. Really appreciated all your help.
You're welcome. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.